Tuesday, everybody. Boy, that was literally the worst day of my betting career. That was poopy. 15 games late today. We got to bounce back. Look at the recap. We hooked on the Houston San Diego. Ended up at 7. Everything else was an L. Absolute horrendous dog shit day. I don't even want to talk about it. Move on. Hot and cold. Just terrible. All right, hot batter matchups. Austin Gomber. A lot of guys hitting well off Austin Gomber on this D-backs lineup. A couple guys hitting well off of Cease. 3 Phillies hitting well off Freddie Peralta. Brian Reynolds hitting well off Sonny Gray. And Randy Arozarena hitting well off Nestor Cortez. Guys that are cold. A lot of onesies in here. A couple guys on the Guardians are cold against Bailey Ober. A couple guys on the Royals cold against Tariq Skubal. A couple guys cold against Aaron Nola. Hot pitcher matchups. We got 4 of them here. So actually we got one in the same game. So Bailey Ober and Tanner Bybee both pitching well against the opposing teams. Aaron Nola, good track record against the Brewers. Tariq Skubal, good, I'd say okay track record against the Royals. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Nestor Cortez, good track record against the Mariners. Guys that haven't been pitching well against their teams today. Austin Gomber not pitching well against the D-backs, and Freddie Peralta, 233 average against this Philly lineup, but 6 home runs in 73 appearances, 12 extra base hits. So options today. Bullpen, only 2 teams where a little concerning with the bullpen. The Padres, if we look, they've pitched Jason Adam 4 out of the last 5 days, so he's gotten a decent amount of work. Tanner Scott has gone a decent amount here lately, so a little bit concerning there. They just use a lot of arms on this Padres team. And then the Tigers, Tyler Holton, who in my opinion is just a lockdown lefty. He has gone 3 of the past 5. You've got Will Vest, who's gone 2 out of the past 3. Jason Foley's gone 3 out of the past 3. Bo Brisk has gone 2 out of the past 3. So there is some question marks around those arms. Kenta Maeda is sitting out there, and who knows if they'll use him. All right, standings review. Pretty straightforward here. So we look at the Orioles. They are dying here, so they've pretty much lost the East at this point, but they are pretty firmly into the wild card. Probably need 2 more wins to lock down a wild card spot realistically. Royals are skidding. They have lost 3 in a row, pretty much just giving the Guardians the AL Central, and they are only a game and a half back of the Twins, who they play today. So if they lose today, they could be a half game back. If the Tigers win, really not going to gain ground just because of the matchup. So they do need to win today. All right. If we look at the AL West, the Mariners are 3 games back. That loss last night really hurt them. So 3 games back with 11 to play. I think we can confidently take them out of the running for the title in the West. If we look at the East, the Braves are now 2 games back after they blew a 5-1 lead against the Reds. So there's that. The Mets and the D-backs are now tied in the wild card spot after the D-backs have lost their last 2. So the Padres are still have a very outside chance of winning the West, but I would say a loss today pretty much scuttles that. All right, let's get into the slate here. First game, Brady Basso going up against Justin Steele. So if we look at Basso, he's a lefty. Really hasn't pitched many games. He's only started 1 game. He started 2 games. So in that time, he's actually done quite well. 8 hits, 0 earned runs, 8 Ks, and that was against the White Sox and the Tigers. We look at Justin Steele, which is kind of interesting. This was Javier Assad yesterday, but it did end up changing. Steele's given up 4 earned runs in his last 4 games, 4 earned runs in his last 3 home games. So he has pitched really well as of late at home. As usual, we have the wind blowing in Wrigley, so probably a lower scoring game. 7.5 seems probably right on cue with these pitchers, but it should be a fairly close game. But I like the Cubs to get the job done. If we look at the Cubs versus left-handed starters, they faced Christopher Sanchez in their most recent outing against a lefty. Got 7 off of him. Didn't get any off Chris Sale, pretty much like every other team lately. And they end up getting 4 off of Cole Reagan. So I do see them getting to this team. Cubs lost yesterday 4-3. They just couldn't hit with runners in scoring position. They had ample opportunities to pounce all over this team, and they just simply couldn't do it. All right, next game, D-backs and the Rockies. D-backs lost again yesterday, pretty wild. Just struggling to hit a little bit in cores, which is kind of ironic for the team that's just been hitting the shit out of the baseball all year. We talked about earlier, Gomber, not a great track record versus this team. Eduardo Rodriguez, who I don't necessarily love, does have one start in Coors Field back in 2019. Fairly serviceable, 5 innings, 3 earned runs. That said, he's got a 6.19 career ERA versus the Rockies. He did face them in Arizona back in August, gave up 3 earned runs. So recent trends haven't been terrible against the Rockies. If we look at Rodriguez, he's given up 9 earned runs in his last 3 games, 8 earned runs in his last 3 away games against the Astros, the Marlins, and the Guardians. If we look at Gomber, 5.36 ERA against this team since 2022. He's pitched against them 3 games already this year, which is pretty wild. So this will be his 4th game. So in 16 innings, he's given up 8 earned runs. So I do like the D-backs to get to Gomber. Just if we look at the track record and kind of as a whole, they haven't really struggled to get to him. That said, I guess maybe in his last game, he only gave up 2 earned runs in Arizona. So there's that. Gomber, fairly okay lately. He's only given up 6 earned in his last 3, 10 earned in his last 3 home starts. So I guess there is a path to take the D-backs here. I just can't imagine D-backs losing 3 in a row, given where they're at in the playoff race here. All right, White Sox, Angels, Jared Schuster going up against Jack Kochanowicz. So essentially, this is a bullpen game for the White Sox, and as of late, White Sox bullpen's been a little bit better. They were rocking about a 6 ERA, and that's down to 4.2 in the last 30 days. Kochanowicz should pitch fairly decent. I don't think he's going to have too many struggles. If we look at his splits, he throws 75% fastballs, but the White Sox are 29th in the last 30 days, hitting basically every pitch he throws. So shouldn't get a ton of runs. So I like the Angels. They got the job done 5-0 yesterday. And we'll see. All right, Giants and the Orioles. Giants absolutely clobbered the O's yesterday. Blake Snell had a hell of an outing. We were on the Orioles there. Just didn't trust the Giants. We kind of talked through how they'd done against righties. They threw up another 10 spot. So who knows what we'll get today. Dean Kramer going up against Hayden Birdsong. Caw-caw. The Birdsong guy. If we look at Kramer, 4.28 home ERA. He's only 3-4 at home, so he hasn't had a great track record. That said, as of late, he's pitched really well at home. We look at Birdsong, 5.70 away ERA. Kramer, 1 earned run in his last 2 games, so he's looked very good in his last 2. Only 4 earned runs in his last 3 home games. So, like I said, we got a lot of trend working towards the Orioles' favor. I think we see that in the line at minus 180. If we look at Birdsong, 7 earned runs in his last 3, 6 earned runs in his last 3 away games. That said, 5 of those 6 came at Milwaukee. So he was able to blank Seattle, gave up 1 to Oakland. I'm just not paying minus 180 for an Orioles team that is struggling mightily offensively. So I would say first 5 under would probably be my first pick with the wind blowing in. And then I guess you'd have to take the Giants. But I just don't think you can make a case to take the Orioles right now. Just 3-7 in their last 10. Just absolutely reeling. Can't justify minus 180 for them. All right, Twins and the Guardians. We got Bailey Ober going up against Tanner Bybee. Ober, 3.76 away ERA. Bybee, a 4.54 home ERA. God, my nose is itching like crazy. All right, Ober, 15 earned runs in his last 4 games. So he has struggled lately. He faced Cincinnati, KC, Toronto, and Atlanta. That said, his last 3 have been better. So 5 earned run in his last 3. I wanted to put the 15 for the last 4 because he got absolutely rocked. But trending in a much better direction here. Last start versus Cincy, he went 6.2 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned, 6 Ks. A little misleading. This guy was absolutely dominating the Reds through 6 innings. They sent him out for the 7th, and all hell broke loose. They sent him out too long, and they absolutely rocked him in the 7th inning. So, like I said, bit misleading. He's actually really, really solid the last 3 games. All right, if we look at Bybee, 11 earned in his last 4 games, 12 earned runs in his last 3 home games. He is definitely vulnerable at home, and 3 of his last 5 starts have been at home. So I think I'd take the Twins in this spot. If we look at Ober, he's faced this team 2 times already this year, 10 innings, 5 earned runs. If we look at Bybee, he's also faced this team multiple times, so 3 times this year, and he's only given up 3 earned runs. So the spot really lends towards the Guardians. I think Ober has a pretty good day, and they should get the job done. The only thing that concerns me is just the bullpen. I thought about leaning maybe like a first 5. That way we take the bullpens out just because Cleveland does have a significant bullpen advantage there. All right, next game, Braves and the Reds. We were on the Braves yesterday. Got out to a 5-1 lead, and then just absolutely blew it. Unreal. They gave up like 6 runs in between the 6th and the 7th inning. So it is what it is. Spencer Steer hit a go-ahead 2-run home run, I believe, to put him on top. Spencer Swellenbach going up against Jacob Junis. Junis has been really solid, 2 earned runs in his last 4 starts. That said, he only goes about 4-ish innings. He doesn't go for a long time. We look at Schwelly. He's got a 3.5 away ERA, 7 earned in his last 3, 5 earned runs in his last 3 away games. I like the first 5 under, especially we got the wind blowing in a little bit. Maybe the under in totals as well. I don't really want to pick a winner here. Maybe Reds first 5 and then Atlanta money line. It's just such a bad game. Good pitching. That's why I like the total under. All right, Astros and the Padres. Framber Valdez, Dylan Cease. Good matchup today. Valdez 3.5 away ERA. Cease about a 3.5 home ERA. If we look at Valdez, 1 earned run in his last 3 games. That said, all 3 of those starts have been at home. If we look at his last 3 away starts, he's given up 6 earned runs to the Orioles, the Rays, and the Rangers. San Diego Padres, 1 earned run versus the last 3 left-handed pitchers. So haven't had the best results. That said, it's kind of been a while. Tyler Holton only threw 2 innings against them. Like I said, I'm a big Tyler Holton fan for the Tigers. Jose Quintana went 6 innings, gave up no runs. Peterson went 7 innings, gave up no runs. So it's been a few weeks really since San Diego's faced a lefty starter. Dylan Cease 0-3 with a 4.18 career ERA versus the Astros. That said, he hasn't faced them since last year. But in 2 games last year, 12 innings, 6 earned runs, 15 Ks. If we look at Cease, he's been pitching better as of late. 7 earned runs in his last 3, 4 earned runs in his last home start. So a little bit of cause for concern there. He really hasn't pitched at home a ton. He's only pitched 2 home starts since August 1st. So I would lean Astros, just kind of, I don't know. We know Cease has those blow-up games where he tends to give up the long ball, and a lot of players on this Astros team can hit it out. We've got the wind blowing out, so I would lean Astros in this spot. All right, Dodgers, Marlins. Wow. Bobby Miller, there's no way you can put that guy in a rotation for the postseason. He is dog shit. He got smacked around. Went 2 innings last night. That said, Dodgers were able to tie it. And then they threw every bad bullpen arm they could think of. I'm pretty sure a homeless person came out of the stands and was thrown at one point. They were just giving up knock after knock after knock. So they threw every crappy arm they had yesterday. Hopefully that means they're not going to throw them today. That said, I think the Marlins can get to Landon Knack. Technically, over the last 2 weeks, this is one of the hottest hitting teams in the MLB. 310 over the last 14, 388 average over the last 7. I think it's going to be Ryan Weathers pitching, but I'm not sure. That's just who's listed. Weathers hasn't pitched since June 7th, so this will be his first game back. If we look at Knack, his last outing against Atlanta was pretty bad. He went 2 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned, gave up 2 home runs. He's given up 8 earned in his last 3 games, 9 earned in his last 3 away games. So I would look for a lot of runs in this game. I like the over. I like the Marlins team total over 3.5 at -110. You can look at the Dodgers team total. I just like runs. Over in this ballpark has been highly profitable. I want to say it's like 70% of the season that the overs hit at Marlins Park. All right, Rays, Red Sox, Tanner Houck going up against Ryan Pepio. If we look at Houck, he's got about a 3 away ERA. Pepio, about a 4 home ERA. Houck hasn't had a lot of success against the Rays. If we look over the course of his career, he's 1-4 with a 4.5 ERA. And that comprises 7 games. He's already faced this team twice already this season. He's went 12.2 innings, 7 hits, 1 earned run. He did get that 1 win in his last game at Tampa Bay. So recent trend, very well. If we look at how 10 earned runs in his last 3 games, 6 earned runs in his last 3 away. So he is pitching much, much better. Let's see here. So Pepio pitched against this team 1 time in May. Went 4 innings, 2 hits, 3 earned runs. Pepio's been super solid since he came back from injury. Over his 6 games since he's came back, he's only given up 10 earned runs. And if we look who he's faced, it's been a gauntlet of fairly good teams. So in his 6 starts since coming back from injury, he has faced the Guardians, the Orioles, the Padres, the Mariners, the Athletics, and the D-backs. So 4 of those teams pretty darn good. So I would lean Rays here, especially after the win last night. I think they can get to Tanner Houck. Tanner Houck giving up almost a 300 average to lefties, 250 to righties. His hard hit percentage is very high, almost 43%, as opposed to Pepio giving up a 229 to righties, a 270 to lefties, but his hard hit percentage is quite low at 37%. All right, Nationals and the Mets. DJ Hurst going up against Jose Quintana, 2 pitchers that have been really hot lately. If we look at Hurst, he is 0-1 with a 4.66 ERA versus the Mets. I don't know why I put the Mets or Nationals. If we look at 2024, 5 earned runs and 9.2 innings. Both of those starts were at home. So Mets do have recent trends of getting to him. But if we look at Hurts in his last 4 games, he's only given up 5 earned runs. 4 of those were against the Cubs. So really, he's given up 1 earned in the previous 3. He's given up 2 earned runs in his last 3 away games, and that was against Pittsburgh, Atlanta, and Baltimore. We look at Quintana. He has pitched against this team 6 times since 2022. He has a 1.50 ERA, so a lot of good vibes for Jose Quintana against this team. He's through 14 innings so far against this team this year, has not given up an earned run, only given up 5 hits. He's only given up 1 earned run in his last 4 games, so obviously we are thinking Mets here, and I like the under potentially, but I like the Mets in the situation. I want to put them really high. My only concern is I feel like Quintana is due for regression. We look at his ERA, it's 4.09, expected ERA 4.64. It just feels like a really sneaky spot where the Mets could absolutely rough him up. So I do have some concern. If we look at the last 30 days for Quintana, he's given up a 360 average to lefties, 270 average to righties. So not really conducive to somebody that's not giving up a lot of earned runs. If we look at DJ Hur's last 30 days, giving up a 120 average to lefties, 167 to righties. So I would love to put this Mets team really high and just smash them. We do have the wind blowing in. I think that helps the Nats because hers is a pretty predominant fly ball pitcher. So I think that aids them. I'll go Mets, but man, this feels sneaky. It feels like a sneaky Nats spot. All right, Tigers, Royals, Tariq Skubal going up against Alec Marsh. You kind of see Skubal and you're like, all right, I'm taking the Tigers. But this KC team has been able to get to him. He is 2-9 with a 5.05 career ERA in 14 games versus this team. He's already faced them 3 times this year, 18 innings, 17 hits, 10 earned runs. So this team's actually had his number. If we look at KC, 17 earned runs versus Skubal in his last 5 starts. He's had 3 games of 4 or more earned runs against this team. So quite concerning, actually. KC has his number. If we look at Skubal, 4 earned runs in the last 3 games, 7 earned runs in his last 3 away games. We look at Alec Marsh. This is a saving grace. I love to fade Alec Marsh. That said, been decent since he came back from wherever he was. I don't know if it was injury or the minors or hell or wherever he was. 8 earned runs in his last 4 games since returning. Last start was against Minnesota, only gave up 2. That said, this KC team looks horrendous. Their bullpen is looking really, really bad. So you give me Alec Marsh and a bad bullpen going up against Tariq Skubal and the best bullpen statistically over the last 30 days. I'll take it. Even though the bullpen is a little taxed, I will back this team. All right, Phillies Brewers. Aaron Nola, Freddie Peralta. Nola had some struggles lately on the road. He has not been great. If we look at Nola, he has given up 31 hits in his last 27 innings pitched. So I am very concerned about his away. That said, I think this is a very pivotal start for him, and whether or not, there's a potential he might not be in this postseason rotation. I think it's slim, but I do think this is a very important start, and he understands that. So I think he's going to come with a little extra gear. The Brewers, they have the Central locked up. They are literally just playing these games to check the box. So it's really the same for the Phillies as well. But I think this means a lot to Nola, not as much to Peralta. If we look at Nola, he's pitched very well against the Brewers, 3-1 with a 2.38 career ERA versus Milwaukee since 2022. So 24 so far this year. He's got 1 game pitched against them with 7 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs. That was at Philly. If we look at Nola, 12 earned runs in his last 3 games. Very high. He's been getting hit quite hard. 9 earned runs in his last 3 away games. If we look at Freddie Peralta, this will be the first game he's pitched against Philly this year. He did pitch against them once in 22 and another time in 23. Only gave up 2 earned runs in those 2 starts combined. So didn't give up a lot of runs. If we look at Peralta, he's been pitching quite nice. 7 earned in his last 4, 6 earned in his last 3 home games. So you can see this game going either way. I just think Nola shows up today. Give me the Phillies at plus money. Better team in my opinion. All right, Pirates Cardinals. This should not. If the Cardinals could hit halfway decent, I would look I would probably ladder this like Cardinals -2, Cardinals -3, Cardinals -4. Sonny Gray going up against Jake Woodford. I had Wentz on here. I didn't go back and fix it. Woodford's terrible. He is really, really, really bad. We look at Sonny Gray. He has been pitching lights out lately. He faced this team a couple months ago, shut him down. Sonny Gray, 3 earned runs in his last 3 games, 4 earned runs in his last 3 home games. So he has been pitching extremely well. I like Cardinals. It's going to be on the best bet, but we're going to take first 5 and money line, a little quick combo there. All right, Blue Jays and the Rangers. Bowden Francis going up against Cody Bradford. This is one of those lines that makes 0 sense to me. And it's actually trending in the other direction. This was plus 105 last night. It's plus 110 now. Bowden Francis has been absolutely lights out. Really hard for me to back this Rangers team with Bowden Francis on the hill. If we look at Francis, he pitched against this team 4 times in 2023. That was in a relief role. So 4 appearances that totaled 7 innings, gave up 1 earned run. He's only given up 4 earned in his last 3 games, 1 earned run in his last 3 away games. And of those 4 earned runs in the last 3, I believe 3 came against one team. So he's been absolutely locked down solid. Really hard to bet against him, especially Cody Bradford hasn't been anything special. We look at Bradford, his last game against the D-backs. He got rocked. 3.2 innings, 9 hits, 8 earned runs, gave up 3 home runs. That said, he's been serviceable at home. He's actually done really well. 6 earned in his last 3 home starts. The only concern is the Blue Jays hitting lefties. I think that's the only reason why we see the Blue Jays plus 110. They have struggled hitting lefties. That said, the pitch splits against Bradford look really good. So hard for me to not back Bowden Francis. Over the last 30 days, this guy's given up a 160 average to lefties, a .058 average to righties. I mean, he has shut everybody down. Bradford, 221 to righties, 200 to lefties. So I don't think it's going to be a very high-scoring game. I think the under 8 is definitely in play, especially after all the runs they scored yesterday. But give me the Blue Jays. Yankees, Mariners, Nestor Cortez, Bryce Miller. I didn't expect Wu to just get absolutely shit on yesterday. That was shocking. The Yankees bats showed up, and they showed up often. So Nestor Cortez, Bryce Miller, a little dodgy, but again, it's the Mariners' offense. I don't trust them. I'm just take the Yankees because you don't know if the Mariners are going to hit or not. Yankees have good experience off of Miller. Last time they faced him in May, they absolutely rocked him in New York. But that said, Miller is a very good pitcher at home. He's given up 4 earned runs in his last 3, 2 earned runs in his last 3 home starts. So he is a much better home pitcher. That said, Cortez has success against this team. Pitched against them once already this year. 5 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs. We know Cortez is fighting for his spot in the rotation. Marcus Stroman ended up throwing 60 some odd pitches last night after he got moved to the bullpen. So Cortez knows that he has to continue to pitch well heading into the postseason here if he wants to make the rotation. Give me the Yankees. All right, pitch sheet. Let you guys screenshot that. A lot of green and a lot of red today, so it should be interesting. All right, best bets. We're going to go Cardinals first 5 at money line, so kind of parlaying those two together at -115. Blue Jays first 5 at +105. If they tie, we push. If they are up by 1, we win. So I like that bet at plus money with Bowden Francis. Dodgers, Miami over 8.5. Knack, Weathers, I just see runs. They should be giving up runs. It's clear the Dodgers are not throwing their good arms. So I think we're going to see someone get rocked, or both. Tigers first 5 -0.5. I'll back Scooble. Despite the record, Alec Marsh on the other side of the hill. I can't trust Alec Marsh, so fade him. Yankees team total over 3.5 at -135. This Yankees offense is seems like they're about to hit their stride, so I'll take 3.5 with the Yankees any day of the week. And then give me Phillies money line at plus money. Like I said, I think the Brewers, Peralta probably gets hit around a little bit. It's just no real reason for them to try to want to go hard there. Parlays, I only got 2 today. So we're going to do Cardinals, Angels, Yankees at +327. We're going to do Astros, D-backs, and the Cubs at +407. Fun parlay, you can look there. It's a pretty beefy one at +2275. Just a little tiny one. And then the upset parlay, Blue Jays, Twins, and the Phillies at +731. Prop lanes I like today. Dylan Cease over 5.5 Ks, just a little low at -120. Austin Gomber under 3.5 Ks at -140. Jose Altuve over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at -115. Norby over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs for the Marlins at -120. Aaron Judge over 1.5 total bases at plus money. Absolutely. It's a double, we get this. 2 singles. It's a home run. Like, yeah, you give me Judge at plus money. Total bases at 2. Absolutely. And then Hayden Birdsong over 3.5 hits. This is such a weird line for a team that is -180. The Orioles are -180, but Hayden Birdsong's hits line's at 3.5. Like that, it's so out there and weird. It doesn't make sense. Nerfies I like Washington and the Mets, Giants and the Orioles, A's and Cubs, and Twins and the Guardians. Other leans I was looking at, Angels team total over, just with it being a White Sox bullpen day. Could definitely see that. It's a way of taking the Angels without necessarily backing them to win. Marlins team total over 3.5 at -110. I really like that one a lot. But I feel like every time I pick those, they just offensively don't show up. And then the Minnesota-Cleveland under. I think 7 of the last 11 games against these two have gone under. So those 2 pitchers on the hill, decent chance that happens today. All right, that is going to do it for today's video. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Catch you in tomorrow's video.